How Steph Curry went from 3-star recruit to the best shooter ever. Steph Curry has been in the conversation for the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA for years. However, he made it official after breaking Ray Allen's all-time record of 2,973 career threes. And guess what? He did it in about half as many games as Allen played. So how did this actually happen? For a man with such short stature, many would say Curry is punching well above his weight, or in this case, height. But here, we'd like to tell you how it all happened. How a 3-star recruit became the best shooter in NBA history. There are many stories of NBA superstars, but Steph Curry's is particularly incredible, especially if you've seen him turn into a babyface killer on the court. So here we'll talk about the rigorous training he had to undergo to get to where he is, and why he seems to get a kick from embarrassing those who trash talk him. The story begins in Akron, Ohio, where Steph Curry was born to Del and Sonia Curry. His father, Del, was also a pro basketball player, so naturally, Steph had a taste for it. But his physique was not helping. He had goals of playing in the NBA, but not even his father believed it could happen, despite his skill with the ball. The young starlet began working on his game when his father moved to Toronto to play for the Raptors. At this time, he began sharpening his ball handling techniques, speed, and shooting skill. Young Curry was known to play Vince Carter one-on-one after home practice games, and sometimes he beat some NBA players at three-point shooting competitions. Although Steph still had a long way to go in perfecting his skills, he was already considered among the youngest talents in Toronto at the time. He played for the Queensway Christian College boys, leading them to an undefeated campaign. Still, his height and size could hardly be overlooked. For college basketball, Curry wanted to play for the Virginia Tech Hokies, but all he got was a walk-on spot because of his slender 160-pound frame. The coach's problem was that it seemed pretty easy to neutralize his shooting ability. The tactic was a box-and-one defense, where the coach assigned a bigger, faster player to guard Curry for the entire game. That way, Curry was frustrated and usually ended up with a bad game, and even today some coaches still employ the same tactic. As a result, he was ranked very low in the national rankings as a junior, and even as a senior. He only made it so far as the 16th best in North Carolina. In fact, in the overall rankings, Curry was rated the 300th best player. But if you know anything about Steph, then you know he never settles. Steph opted to stay in North Carolina and go to Davidson College. There, Curry was determined to begin proving his haters wrong. In his first collegiate match against Eastern Michigan, Steph scored 15 points. However, he committed 13 turnovers in that game, and by his next game, he planned to play better and take care of the ball. So in the next game, he put up 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. Curry finished that season as the leading scorer in the Southern Conference with 21.5 points per game. He came second at the national level only to future NBA star Kevin Durant. These stats helped his school to a 29-5 overall record and a Southern Conference regular season title. In 2007, the Wildcats played a Southern Conference tournament semifinal match against Furman, where Steph recorded his 113th three-point field goal in a year. With that, he broke Kadron Clark's NCAA freshman three-pointer record. He also holds the record for the school's leading scorer in the freshman season after his 502nd point against Chattanooga that same year. He ended his first season as the Southern Conference Freshman of the Year and Tournament MVP. He was also selected to the All-Freshman Team, SoCon All-Tournament Team, and First Team All-Southern Conference. By the end of his time at Davidson, Curry was the school's all-time leading scorer after scoring 34 points in a 99-56 win against Georgia Southern. He scored 2,488 points there, surpassing the previous school leader, John Gertie. He was also the NCAA scoring leader and made the consensus first-team All-American. At this point, Steph had become a national sensation, and all eyes were on him. Still, the doubts remained. Toward the 2009 drafts, people still wondered how a 6'3" skinny player with a baby face would survive under the NBA pressure. He just didn't seem like the best playmaker in the drafts, And when Minnesota had pick numbers 5 and 6, they selected point guards that they believed to be better than Steph. But with the 7th pick, the Golden State Warriors snagged him up. And unlike the other team, they made the best bet. Steph immediately hit the ground running as he appeared in 80 games that season and averaged 17.5 points, 5.9 assists, 4.5 rebounds, and 1.90 steals in 36.2 minutes. He earned recognition as the Western Conference Rookie for January, March, and April. He finished as the only Western Conference rookie to win the award 3 times and came second as the Rookie of the Year. In his second season, STEPH Curry cooked over 30 points in 8 different games, making him the 3rd rookie in NBA's history with the most 30-point games. He shared this record alongside LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. So, had he finally proved his doubters wrong? Was he finally the NBA superstar that only he believed he was? Not quite. Although his numbers improved incrementally, he just wasn't at Monty Ellis's level, who was averaging over 20 shots per game. Thus, the pressure was overwhelming again. And toward the end of the season, Curry hurt his ankle and had to undergo surgery. Unfortunately, that ankle injury lasted for years, and soon many believed he was injury-prone. After his 3rd season ended, he was set to be traded to the Milwaukee Bucks, but then the medical team at the Bucks claimed that Curry's injury was too risky. However, the trade still happened, but it was Monty Ellis who got traded, to the displeasure of the Warrior fans. Although looking back, I bet the fans would be a little grateful to the Milwaukee medical team for stopping the trade. Anyway, Steph got a contract extension worth about $44 million in the 2012 offseason. The team also began recruiting players like Draymond Green, Harrison Barnes, and Klay Thompson, all under coach Mark Jackson. The team was coming together. The Splash Brothers were formed, and Curry was ready. After years of finishing in the bottom 5, the Golden State Warriors were about to become unstoppable, and Curry was going to spearhead the battle. From 2012 to 2014, Steph Curry established a new NBA single-season three-point record with 286 threes to take the crown from Ray Allen, and he did so in 53 fewer games. He also got recognized as the Western Conference Player of the Month for April, as well as earned a spot on the All-NBA Second-Team honors. The Splash Brothers were on fire, and the Warriors were now playing for titles. However, they weren't champions yet, and in 2014, the Warriors were defeated in 7 games by the Clippers. Steph was voted the NBA Most Valuable Player after the season, but as for the team, the management knew they had to make changes. Before the 2014-15 season, the management signed a new coach, Steve Kerr, who implemented new schemes that included a faster-paced playing strategy. This strategy also allowed Curry more freedom to shoot. Meanwhile, he had been at the gym getting stronger to cope with the game's physicality. Over the next couple seasons, Curry scored a season-high 51 points against the Dallas Mavericks and became the leading vote-getter for the All-Star Game. In 2016, Curry pulled out all the stops, hitting over 5 threes per game, thus breaking his record of 286 and setting the record for highest three-pointers in a season with 402 in a Warriors game versus the Knicks. Curry became the king of three-pointers with 2,977 threes in 789 games. Curry also joined the special 50-40-90 NBA club for superstars with great shooting percentages from the field, beyond the arc, and the free throw line. Besides being the league's first ever unanimous MVP, he is also only the 11th player ever to win the award in consecutive seasons. Also, he is the first guard to do so since Steve Nash did it in 2005 and 2006. You've probably heard him being credited for changing the game, with more players now playing to shoot as many three-point shots as possible. Well, that's very true, and the numbers speak for themselves. So, for a 3-star recruit who later became an 8-time NBA All-Star, 2-time NBA MVP, 4-time NBA champion, and received an NBA Finals MVP award, plus the All-Star Game MVP award, there is no doubt that Curry has cemented himself as the best shooter ever.